The dress weighed 19 pounds. Custom bodice, hand-sewn beading, a train that took 2 people to arrange behind me on the altar steps. I stood very still inside it, the way you stand inside a decision. The flowers were everywhere, white peonies and garden roses, $15,000 of them climbing the arch above my head. The smell was thick, sweet in a way that coats the back of your throat. 300 faces looked up at me, country club faces, his mother's friends mostly, women in structured jackets, men checking their watches without checking their watches. Front row center, David's mother sat with her hands folded, wearing the champagne dress she'd cleared with me first in a meeting with fabric swatches. David stood across from me, fresh haircut. He mouthed, "You okay?" because I'd been quiet during the processional. The priest finished his reading. He turned to me, smiled, and placed the microphone in my hand. And now, the bride's vows. I raised the mic halfway to my mouth. Then I lowered it. The silence started small. Then it stretched. David proposed on a boat, in front of a photographer his mother had hired without telling either of us. That should have been the whole story right there. I missed it. His family had money, not quiet money, display money, the kind that sponsors a hospital wing and makes sure the plaque font is large. His mother, Patricia, ran that family like a brand. When we got engaged, she cried for exactly one dinner, then arrived at my apartment with a binder. "We'll cover everything," she said. "It's our gift." It wasn't a gift. It was an acquisition. The one person in it that was mine was Sarah, my maid of honor. 9 years of friendship. She was the one who held my hand at the first dress fitting and said, "You are going to marry the perfect man." She meant it warmly. I believed her. 30 days out, David and I shared an iPad, kitchen counter used for recipes and Netflix. His iMessage was signed into it. He didn't know or didn't think about it. Men who assume they won't be caught rarely do the small math. A text preview slid across the screen while I was reading a marinade, Sarah's name, then the body of the message, which I won't repeat here, but which was not something a maid of honor sends the groom. I put down the phone. I opened the full thread. I scrolled. 6 weeks of it. Hotel names, times she'd left my apartment and gone straight to his, jokes about me. Then the audio note. David had recorded one, 41 seconds. I played it once, at low volume, standing alone in my kitchen. I want to be precise about what happened in my body, because it wasn't what you'd expect. I didn't cry, my hands didn't shake, something colder happened. Every warm thing I felt for him, 4 years of it, just switched off. Not slammed, switched. Like a breaker tripping in a basement. 1 second, the affection was there, load-bearing. The next second, the room was dark, and I noticed the house had been running on that current the whole time. I didn't confront him. Confrontation is for people who want an outcome changed. I didn't. I picked up the marinade again. Dinner was at 7. He liked it at 7. 30 days is a long time to smile. I sat through a lunch where Patricia announced the catering was handled, paid in full, 30,000, don't you worry about a thing. I told her it was too generous. She waved me off and ordered the Bronzino. I let every deposit clear. The florist, non-refundable at 14 days, the band, paid, the photographer, the videographer, good, I wanted the videographer. The venue's final balance ran through Patricia's card on a Tuesday. The venue did a sound check 2 days before. I found the audio booth. The tech was 19, headphones around his neck, bored. I told him the bride wanted a surprise track cued after the vows. I handed him the flash drive and 5 $100 bills. "One nod from the altar," I said. "You play the whole thing. Full volume, don't stop it for anyone." He counted the money with his thumb. "Song?" "Something like that." Back to the altar, the mic in my hand. The silence stretched to its breaking point. I looked at the audio booth at the back of the hall. I nodded once. The speakers were built for a 300-person room. They did their job. David's voice came first, unmistakable, filling the vaulted ceiling. Then Sarah's. Then the parts that made a woman in the third row gasp and cover her mouth. The words that were never meant for a room echoed off the stone and the peonies and the champagne dress. I watched Patricia. I owed myself that. Her face went through it in stages: confusion, recognition, then the pure animal horror of a woman watching her brand detonate in front of everyone she'd ever tried to impress. I looked at the bridal party line. Sarah had gone the color of the tablecloths. She looked at me, and for the first time in 30 days, I let her see that I knew. David said my name. Then he said it louder, over the recording of his own voice. I didn't say a word, not one. I set the microphone down on the altar step, gently. I gathered the 19-pound train over my arm, turned, and walked back down the aisle, past 300 people, at a normal pace, unhurried. The Uber Black was at the curb, engine running. I'd booked it for a 15-minute window. I was 4 minutes early. $100,000 spent on a party that celebrated nothing. Non-refundable, every cent. Patricia's own money, paid to broadcast her son's affair to 300 of her closest peers. I couldn't have bought that outcome. She financed it herself. I just chose the timing. I spent that night in a hotel downtown. I changed out of the gown, ordered a burger and fries and a glass of wine to the room, and ate it in a robe with the city lights on. People assume I must have felt something big, rage or grief or triumph. I felt none of it. I felt the specific quiet of a job finished correctly. I slept for 9 hours. I hadn't done that in a month.